Hi, I'm Adam Abraham for President Water. If you're a farmer, what would life be like for you if you go an entire season without any rain? I dare say probably be a problem. You might be able to get away with it if you've got some groundwater. However, all farmers I've talked to, and they acknowledge that it's the rainwater that actually causes a major and demonstrable differences in their crops, as in contrast to the groundwater. Groundwater, yeah, you got to irrigate, you got to have something. But when it rains, things just happen dramatically. So what happens, what might occur if it didn't rain at all for an entire season? What difference would that make? Well, it turns out this past season, one of our customers, Arthur Cornwall of Canterbury Plain, or in the Canterbury Plain, the South Island of New Zealand, that happened. And fortunately, I'll say, because he's a happy farmer, he had Vortex Generators. 4 of them actually, 3 on 8-inch lines and 1 on a 6-inch line. What you're about to hear, or see rather, is a conversation that my partner Jody Spencer had with him when Jody paid him a visit.
Welcome to another little video session, and today we're in sunny New Zealand on the Canterbury Plains with Arthur Cornwall. Arthur is one of the pioneers of the Vortex business in New Zealand and decided to invest in Vortex Generators to see what sort of performance he could add to his farm in regards to, I'll let Arthur explain it in a minute, but the savings and what difference it's made to what Arthur's doing. So Arthur, tell us a little bit about how you found us and what got you interested in Vortex Water.
Well, I suppose it boils down, I love information on the internet and YouTube. There's a lot of stuff that relates to what we're doing and sort of out of the box sort of stuff or something different, and I think I came across Vortex Watering on there, and there was quite a few websites, and one thing led to another. It sort of pricked my ideas up because we use pond water for irrigation, and I'd class it as sort of dead water, that hey, this might have some benefit to us with the system. You know, we're sort of semi-biological, if you like, or working that way towards it. So we just saw it as probably a piece of the puzzle, or like I say, you know, I want to get 10 ducks in a row perfection, which is, we may hit it every now and then, but if we can get 7 or 8, then just making our water more efficient.
Yeah, well, like every farmer knows, they much prefer the stuff that comes from down up there than out of one of these big boys, because the results speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And
like we were years on border dike irrigation, and through the heat of the summers, through the 70s, 80s and 90s, water every 14 days, we would keep the grass green, but we always talked about a green drought.
yeah,
We would never have the sort of the guts and the grass, if you like.
survival, not thrival.
Yeah. So, you know, the nutrient value of the grass wasn't there, and you know, which ultimately cost us some production. So,
You've had a bit of a win. We were talking earlier. You've had a bit of a win in regards to your bricks values.
yes,
You've noticed those. So for the people watching today, you want to give us a bit of a rundown. What's the best bricks value you've seen on the grass that you've been growing?
Well, we've gone to 8 so far, and that
We went 8's pretty good for greens.
Yeah, and but we had a bit of foliar fertiliser on that prior to the 10 days, and we had another paddock that was just sulphate of ammonia gone on, and that was a bricks of 3. So by comparison, and both had the Vortex generated water go on, but we really want to get those bricks as 10 plus is what we're aiming at, and you know, we're putting systems in place to actually achieve it. We are not the most scientific sort of people. It's either boom or bust. We either do the whole lot or we don't do it at all. Running around with a refractometer is something we do sporadically, not regularly.
Yep.
But I think over time, you know, our whole farming system's evolving, and we just watch what the cows do. If they go into a paddock and they level it like a bowling green, no dung and urine patches and all the rest, and that grass is worth eating. Whereas we look over the fence at some of our neighbours, quite clumpy, they're out topping.
Yep.
So yeah, no, we think our cows are pretty happy. They sit down early, they chew their cud, they make milk.
Yep.
And
do you have any comparisons as to, like, you know, you spoke about milk solids, so what would you expect off your cow's milk solids wise?
We're only a 4-year conversion, and the culling hasn't been all that hard. And when we bought the herds, there was some quite
rat bags
in the system, so that should have been in the McDonald's burger but never quite made it. They're still on the place. So, but every animal has the potential, as long as you put, you know, like I say, if you can get 8 out of 10 ducks in a row, that cow has the potential to do far better than what she's doing when she's under stress and under pressure. So the more things you can do to take that stress off her, and she's happy sitting there doing what she's made to do, then the better off we all are. So everybody has potential, but and we all have negatives.
Life has potential. Yeah. It's like the water.
Yep.
More energy in life, more energy in the water, more energy.
Yep.
Everything does better. It's like you were saying earlier about the your sick cow herd. It's 1 at the moment. Yeah. Out of 700 and...
Oh no, 550 cows.
550 cows, and you know that's pretty phenomenal.
Yep.
Right.
And a low empty rate, 6.9%. So
6.9% is
a pretty sweet number.
Yeah, it's a great number. With rat bags.
With rat bags.
Some, not all rat bags, but some rat bags. Yeah. Yeah, so that's good.
And
really good.
You know, and I'm over 60 and still learning, so I'll stop learning when I'm in a box. So
yeah, that's the way forward. You don't look 60. You know, I'm about to turn 50, and you look as good as I do. So that's happy times. You're doing something right, Arthur.
You don't get a body like this without abusing it. So.
Yeah, no, I understand that concept. When you first put the devices on, what was the first thing you noticed?
Oh, the quietness running of the pumps.
Yep.
We had one quite rowdy pump, and it I don't know what percentage, but we couldn't talk in the shed when it was running, and once we put the units on, we could talk in the shed, which was quite amazing. And we saw the amps, they were drawing sort of 32, 33 amps, went down to about 27 amps.
Yep. Well, that's significant power saving.
Yeah.
And so over, let's say they've got a 10-year life expectancy, those units, well, they've probably got more, to be honest with you. Now, there's nothing that should fail on them. Based on that amperage saving, would you say that the units pay for themselves just in the savings on electricity?
Yeah, I haven't worked out what it relates to cost saving wise, but it's got to be.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a lifetime warranty, so...
Oh, well, mate, I'd give you a lifetime warranty, and probably the other punters that are going to watch this, oh, well, Arthur's getting a lifetime warranty,
Yeah, I'm going to get 30 years out of it, whether it's working or not. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I can't quantify it, but dollar-wise, because I haven't sat down with the right people to sort of tell me what's what, but I wouldn't send them back.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they come back with a money-back guarantee, so you know that you got 1 year to work out whether they're working for you. And this season, well, this is the end of the second season. This is the first season in 18 years in the last 18 years on the Canterbury Plains where it hasn't rained during summer. Usually, there's, you know, you get 15, 20 mils every week or 2 weeks, and it's been dry the whole time, right?
Yep.
And so. You know, there's a bit of a story in that too, in regards to, you know, you only get 3.5 mils per hectare per day. You're drawing 5 when the pivots are on, so you've got days off, and you've noticed that it hasn't really made too much of a difference. In fact, in another video, we're gonna dig I want to just explain what happened when you went digging, putting a new power line in for a little pivot.
Yeah, well, about a month, 6 weeks ago, we had to run a line through for an infill pivot, 200 metre pivot, and we dug down, the cable went down about 1100 deep was the trench, and we were going across a paddock and it was wet right through the profile, and I just couldn't believe that there was so much water right down there. I thought, hey, my first thought was we were overwatering. And then we got to where the pivot had stopped and the rotor sort of picked up, and we'd had a couple of issues with the rotor and the rotor was sort of slightly behind the 8-ball, which wasn't an overly fair comparison, but we dug up dust, 150 down,
yeah,
and right to the bottom of the trench was dust.
Okay.
It was just chalk and cheese, bang, and we thought, wow, there's something going on here. And my first thought is, oh no, how much are we overwatering? We have to get in and measure it, and we maybe have to recalibrate our moisture meters, and we have to try and get to quantify where we're at. And that was my first subsurface look at what was going on.
Yeah, and that's possibly another day or two where you don't have to water per week. So there's the savings on that electricity, let alone the electricity you're saving on that 6 amps that you were missing before. So
yep.
Theoretically your number might be watering 30% less than what you have in the past.
I think that's quite possible.
Yeah.
And less wear and tear on the machines.
Yeah, if it's not running, you're not paying for it, right?
Yeah.
And we all know there's a tidal wave of servicing coming in about 10 years' time, isn't there, on the Canterbury Plains?
Yep.
So
nothing ever breaks down sitting in the shed.
No, this is true. So what other things have you noticed, mate? Ultimately, in the end of the day, is improving the bottom line, and helping nature and making farming more sustainable.
Yeah. Well, all I can say about that is I think in the not too distant future, the way the way things are looking, it potentially could be an industry standard.
Yeah. And
best practice. That's what we get tossed at.
Yep.
And I think it is potentially a no-brainer.
Yeah.
But
I'm a little bit biased, so
Yeah, I realise that.
But obviously it's about putting that energy back into, water's a capacitor, and its ability. If you put it into an environment where it's going to either bring in energy, if the water's energyless, it needs to bring in the energy to find its balance. It's always seeking balance. But if it's got more energy, like rainwater does, then it's got that energy to give away.
Yep.
And that's that's where the through the enzymes and the nutrients in the soil, that's where the plant, you make it easier for the plants to uptake the nutrition and the water. So it's like I said, what we've seen is it works for everybody and everything. It's part of the silver bullet solution.
Yeah. Well, I think too, and what we want to get back to, and there's the old adage, I've seen it time and time again, is back in the 1920s you ate 1 apple, today you've got to eat 5 apples to get the same nutritional value out of it. Well, I want to get back to eating that 1 apple again, and if this is one of the steps along the way to get back to eating that 1 apple, or our cows eating a more nutrient dense diet, then if that's one of the pathways we go along to do it, why not?
Yeah.
Because human health and animal health and all the rest is going to benefit from it.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we spoke about when we started the Vortex Generators. We can help so many more people. I know, in Australia the supermarkets only look for pumpkins, for instance. They want pumpkins that are 1 to 2 kilos. They don't measure the bricks value of them or what they look like. They just want them a certain size so they're easy to sell. What they taste like or how much nutrition's not part of the deal, and part of the joy we get of out there talking about these devices is we're bringing more nutrients or making food, whether it's for animals or people, more nutritious, and that that's got to equate to better health.
Yeah. Well, Mary bought some asparagus not so long ago, and we were eating homegrown asparagus, and we actually threw the bought asparagus out because it just didn't taste anywhere near like the homegrown. I bricks tested it, and they were about 7 or 8 points difference.
Yeah.
So, you know, the bought stuff went in the bin.
The compost.
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know if the worms would eat it.
Oh, mate, have you got any recommendations? Like, would you know, is it something, if you're starting again or you're putting a new pivot in, is it something that you'd automatically put in as part of what you need to do to get the job done?
Yeah, I would not do it.
Yeah.
It's just
it's a no-brainer.
As that. Well, we've got a huge investments in pivots, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of pivots.
Yeah.
And and further down the track, our property's going to be able to quantify it better.
Yeah.
But this is just where we're at the moment. You know, I'm very positive.
Yeah. Right. Well, mate, I appreciate everything you're sharing with us, and it's been a great journey. It's just unfolding, so we'll see what the next 12 or 24 months bring. I'll no doubt come back and we'll do this all again and get a bit of an update. But I appreciate everything, Arthur. So
thank you. Well, it's a team effort.
It is, mate.
You need us and we need you.
Exactly. Good on you, mate.
Cheers, Jody.
Cheers, mate. Right.
If you want to know more about what and how Vortex Generators might benefit you in your operation, please give us a call on our toll-free number or drop us an email, info@presidentwater.com. The toll-free number is 888-777-6045. Thank you.